My name is Robert from Citrus Springs, Florida, and this is SE Shop Audits.
At this point, if I'm doing this research, I'm backing out of here because I'm not seeing the monthly sales. Like I'm seeing 30 sales. That's not enough for us, right? So Robert, it's like this process, when you see this, you're like, okay, that's not going to work. Camping lover is not a big enough search. So it's probably not one I'm going to go after. Camping bachelorette. That's interesting. All right, Robert. Well, here is everything that you had, you reported to us on your little intake form. Nook and Cranny Outdoors is a shop name, about 11 months old. The niche is outdoors, hiking, camping. Sticking point, sales. Well, join the club. I think we all could say that's a sticking point. Total revenue was $1,300. That may have changed since you gave us that number. And then the income goal is $20,000 to $30,000 by the end of 2024.
Yep.
Does that sound all accurate?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So the next question is going to be, give us a little bit of a backstory. You started 11 months ago, almost a year ago. I guess, where do you feel right now is your biggest sticking point? I know you said sales, but dig in a little bit more there. Like if there was a magic wand that you could, wave over top of your Etsy shop, and I know it's sales, but get a little bit more granular. Like what's your biggest sticking point so far?
Well, originally started out like most do, just sweatshirts and t-shirts because that's what everyone tells you. And we just didn't really have a niche, but then started following you guys in November. So once I got past all the Christmas, we decided to pick what we love, and we love to hike outdoors and all that. So I tried to rebrand everything into that. My sticking point right now, I think, is maybe views and pretty much where I need to go from here.
Okay.
I'm like stuck like right in the area of like, okay, what do I need to make everything work?
Yeah. Okay. And so let me kind of go back a little bit though. So you started with kind of like throw spaghetti at the wall, kind of see what sticks. And then from there, you started listening to what we were saying. And then you were like, okay, that makes sense. Now, how much success did you have before November?
Before November, I might have had 10, 11 sales.
Okay. So you came in basically the same time that my wife, when she started, came in right around November. Best time to get started, really, because I mean, your chances of selling something is pretty high, but from that point, is that when you were you selling stuff in your shop that was still more towards the outdoors stuff where you wanted to go, or was it a back catalog of what you kind of put in?
No, it was pretty much a back catalog. I really didn't start rebranding till probably middle of January.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, and I had in December probably 30, 35 sales in December with just the spaghetti at the wall.
Okay. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. So let's Chris, can you pull up the shop? Can we go ahead and kind of see where we're at right now? And then from there, we can go ahead and start looking at some numbers and things like that. Okay, cool. Love the banner because here we are. We're kind of like showing the outdoors. My only thing on the banner that I would say is with your products, I'd want to see something there of products. Like when I come into the store, I think this is great. It gives me the vibe that I'm outdoors and I understand what this is about. But in the same breath, I think showing off your products with them being either worn or being used. People love lifestyle shots with a smiling face. So something like that. And again, is this going to make your sales go through the roof? No, I'm just looking at it as far as a branding aspect. I like the name. I like the logo. The logo is fine. A little hard to read on the font, I would say. I mean, the font's not terrible, but maybe a little hard to read because it's so much crammed in that one little space.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would typically try to avoid really nice scripty fonts for things like this. Here, it's readable in the banner because it's big enough.
Yeah.
But you still lose kind of cranny, right? and outdoors is pretty readable. When we get into anything smaller than that shop banner, it's going to be really hard to read, especially on mobile. So if we can either change the font up there or come up with some sort of like logo that is not a text-based logo, if you really like that font, there's nothing wrong with it. That would more accurately represent the shop. Then that's probably where I would go with that, so that it's something people can remember and actually recognize.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, Robert, I don't think this is going to make or break the shop. Like, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it more as like, okay, if I'm branding and I'm putting stuff together, I want something that in a small circle is going to be able to be shown and be seen very, very clearly. So that's all I'm looking at. So okay, Chris, just scroll a little bit just so I can get an idea of like what we're looking at here. So we have a shirt, we have a sign, we've got some tumblers, we've got some clocks. Good. Okay. Now let me ask you this. So where did you get the idea to do these? And I mean, maybe it's, you did your own research. Maybe you saw that other people were selling them. Like, where's the validation on these, that these are going to get you to where you want to go?
Well, I do have Everbee, and I do use that constantly.
Okay.
And I mean, I'll go through and type in and see what is selling for the most part and try to go from there. Design wise, I try to go through a little bit on Creative Fabrica and look through that to get ideas.
Okay. So, and usually it comes down to starting here is because you said that you're struggling with views. If you can't get views, you can't get sales. We know that, right? So we have to kind of like fix that problem. And that problem generally is not usually going to be, in most cases, it's not going to be SEO, right? Because you could have everything going great with the SEO, but if the product doesn't have the demand that we need, then we're kind of, we're trying to get traffic on something that there really isn't any traffic there.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes on how these Etsy shop audits even happen. Every single month, Chris Schaefer and I, we meet and we batch record 3 to 4 of these episodes. Then they get edited and they get posted like the one you're watching right now. But what we decided to do is create what we call our Backstage Pass Club. This is where all of our club members, they get to join us on that recording as we're doing it live. The other cool thing is you're able to ask questions, and you also can get access to the recordings before they ever air, immediately, raw and unedited. You even get all the questions that were asked that you might have missed because, well, maybe you couldn't attend that one live. So if you'd like to be part of our Backstage Pass Club and join our next batch recording session, head on over to brandcreators.com/club or click the link in the description. Now, let's get back to the audit.
So my question is, if you were to say, what are your 5 products, 3 products? Let's go 3. You got 3 products. You're like, those are my winning products. Those are the ones that are going to bring in loads of traffic. Do you know what they are?
Well, right now, my biggest selling item is actually a sweatshirt that is still left over from throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Okay.
But I feel like now the clocks I just recently put in like a couple weeks ago. I sold 2 of them last week.
Okay.
But I feel like the tumblers, the outdoor signs, I mean, if you look up outdoor signs, there's a lot of sales on those. Pretty much everything I have in the shop, I've checked to see what kind of sales there are, and they do have a lot of sales.
Okay. So I guess, so outdoor sign, when I hear that, like, so if someone is typing in, someone is looking for something, are they looking for outdoor sign, or are they looking for sign for cabin, or gift for outdoorsmen? Like, where's the search?
Right. I mean, normally I'll type in outdoor signs.
Okay.
And they'll come up like that.
So like this here, camping crew.
Yeah.
That tells me they're campers.
Yes.
Right. So it's outdoors, but it's technically camping.
Right.
You see, so we just took like, outdoors, massive, big, and now it's really honing in on camping. So what other things are you creating that line up with the camping?
A lot of hiking stuff as well.
Okay.
I've niched down pretty much to camping and hiking. and
Okay.
then I was going to branch out from that.
Yeah, I think you could go really deep on the camping.
Right.
And I think the camping can encompass, there's some hiking that's in there as well, but you have the camping where, you know, you have the RVers, right? You have people that are RVing. You have people that are, what's the other? There's another word that they're glamping, right? You have glampers. You know, you have all these different terms now for camping. But I would be thinking along the lines of like right this second, how can I create more for that camper? The person that bought that sign, what else would they buy? And are they buying it for themselves, do you know, or are they buying it as a gift?
Most are buying it for themselves. Actually, the signs, I haven't sold any yet.
Okay. You said you sold the clocks though. What clocks have you sold?
One was actually a sunset over a pier. And then the other was actually a hiking clock. Yeah, that one there sold. That was just Friday it sold that. And then that one there sold a couple days before that.
And this is what you're calling the hiking one?
Yes.
So
yeah, go ahead, Chris.
A couple things so far. Robert, when you say outdoor signs, this is a place where I see a lot of people get tripped up about keyword intention. Right? What people mean when they're typing that in. Your store is trying to serve the outdoors market, meaning people who like to be outside.
Yep.
Right.
What I want to make sure we're doing is not confusing that with the search intent of that keyword, which would be a sign which can go outdoors. Right.
Okay.
And so a lot of that volume that you're seeing for that, and again, I'm just something to plant in the back of your head. This is not going to be make or break for you. But a lot of people are just searching for any sign that goes outside of the house, not necessarily a sign that is around the theme of being outdoors, camping, hiking, hunting, right? Those kinds of things.
Right.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is you said you're starting to sell some of these clocks. So I wanted to let you kind of go off on this for a minute.
Right.
And just.
Yeah. And that's only been in the shop for maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then the clocks actually started selling right away.
Okay. I'm still not convinced on this, Chris, though. Like motivational 10-inch wall clock for hiking. Like I'm curious where that traffic came from. Like what search? Are you running any Etsy ads on these?
Yeah. $5 a day.
Okay. Do you know if a sale was picked up by the ads on this?
I believe it was.
Okay. So these haven't been running long, but I definitely would want to dig in there to see if we can see any searches. Because if it's someone searching for a motivational wall clock, that doesn't really make it that it's our customer. We'll take it.
What we'd really be looking for is this.
Yep.
Right. Wall clock for hiking and outdoor lovers.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And so let's go back for a minute though. You started selling these clocks. Was it because you thought that the clocks would make a good gift or a good product for someone that was into outdoor stuff? Or did you see another product that was selling that you got the idea from?
I thought they would actually go along with other stuff that was in the store so they could do more than one item at a time.
Got it. Okay. So this technically isn't your in-demand validated product.
No.
Okay. I want to go there because this is great that you're picking up sales, but I want to know that we've got like this direct line of traffic that's coming from a search that people are looking for, like camping lover gift, right? If that's the thing and we find products and you're like, okay, that's going to be my goal is to get something for that person. And then you see a product that's selling well, now that's what I've got to shoot for, right? That's the potential. So is there anything, I mean, we can dig, but is there anything that you would say that you found that is that in demand?
Usually my searches go, for the most part, I've been doing my searches outdoor stuff. And then like Chris just said about people might get confused as far as that, but I do like camping, and then I see what populates.
Okay.
And I go from there.
So
I check what best sellers are and all that.
okay. So is there something, Chris, is there something that he has that's in camping that would be that thing?
Let me flip back over to his shop here really fast. And while I do that, Robert, the way that I'm looking at this is there's kind of two different types of products. There are the things that people can take with them when they are outdoors. And then there are the products that represent that side of them. And I'm thinking, I know you've probably seen a bunch of these since you're from PA. It's like that stereotypical central Pennsylvania family room where they have the, like, you know, the buck mounted on the wall. Yeah. They have, you know, the clock talking about how much they love, or, you know, meditation is walking in the woods after a crisp, you know, after a new fallen snow, something like that. Right. So there's the decoration and the representation side of this. And then there's also the things they could take with them side of this. And those are the two I'd like to see you really start to drill in on. And I think that's pretty easy to do given your niche. Scott, what is it that you were looking for specifically here?
Yeah, I'm looking for the product that would be the one that's going to be the driver. Right? Like, where's the product that you're going to show that's like doing, I don't know, I'm throwing a number out there. It's doing, you know, $3,000-$4,000 a month consistently. And someone's proving that.
I mean, I can tell you which one's actually getting the most views right now.
Okay.
And that is actually one of the garden flags.
Okay. So
actually, it's the one right there.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. So personalized camping flag. Okay. Yeah, you can see there up top. What did it say, Chris? 5 views in the last 24 hours. Okay. Yeah, so this is on yours. Now, Chris, let's do the search. I want to see now. I want to see what we're seeing as far as personalized camping flag for campsite. Now, one thing I would say here too, Chris, before you move on, go back quick. Go back. Sorry.
Getting ahead of myself.
Okay. So here's the other thing. You have here personalized camping flag for campsite. That's not a campsite.
Right.
So my thing is like, if I'm looking for that and I see that, that's closer. And I know that these are the stock ones that they give you. But it would be really nice to see a camper in the back, even if it was blurred out. And then you see this flag, because now you're like, oh, campsite, camper, right? I don't think the intention for these is to hang them up on their house, because you're stating it right here. It's for a campsite. So could people buy it because they're diehard campers and they want to put it out on their as their thing? Sure. But if they're searching for personalized camping flag for campsite and they see a whole bunch of listings and yours is that and everyone else's is different, yours probably wouldn't get as clicked on as much. You might get views, but you won't get clicks, because the views or impressions would be just people scrolling by. But Chris, let's go ahead and do that search.
Yeah, and views in this case, Scott, when we're seeing like 5 views in the last 24 hours, that would be people who came to the listing.
Exactly.
The problem with this at that point, Robert, is they've come in, they're expecting it to be for the campsite. And then if they go to look through the pictures, they don't see anything. So they have that disconnect, and that can bring that conversion rate down. So even if we do get those views, then it's not necessarily the type of traffic that we want. And if we look, we can see that you do pop up here, right? And you are in one of those top spots. But if we look at what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, look at that. Look, yeah, Chris, look at the one there on the right. Welcome to our campsite. And then look in the back. I'm at a campsite.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that one's selling better, but I'm just saying that's a much better representation. Like, I would model that. Like, that's exactly what I would model. Yeah, I think that's really a lot better. That one's even not bad either. Even if you just had like the down there where it says "Welcome to our campsite," that what is that? Tackett family. Welcome. It's the one there. It's kind of got the blue sky behind it all the way to the left, Chris.
This one.
It's like a whitish flag. Yeah, that one. So that one there, even though and that's pretty cool too. They got a video of it just kind of blowing a little bit just to get the attention. So can we run a search or the analytics on this, Chris, and see if there's any sales data that we can look at? Hey, I wanted to cut in here real quick. If you're wondering what tool we're using to gather all of this information and to really make these important decisions on products, well, the tool is called Everbee.
It's the only tool that we personally use for everything Etsy. They have everything from product research, keyword research, and they also offer email marketing now. That tool you can get access to absolutely free when you visit brandcreators.com/Everbee, and you'll get 10 free searches for the month. You can try it out before you invest in this tool. My recommendation is every single Etsy seller should be using this tool. So if you want to try it, go to brandcreators.com/Everbee, and you can go ahead and get access to it immediately. All right, let's get back to the audit.
And then, Robert, if you're not finding any mockups that have that campsite background, one really easy thing to do would be to take a mockup that you have right now, go into Canva, just use their background removal tool, because those are separated enough that it should do a really good job of picking that out. You can do the background removal tool and just drop in Yosemite, drop it, drop in whatever campsite conjures up in your mind and get that background on there without having to do more than 2-3 minutes worth of work. And Scott, you want me to sort this by month?
Yeah, would you? Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. There's your metal sign. It's not yours, but it's someone else's. So look down there. Okay, so welcome to our mountain or something down there, I see, right?
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of these are not necessarily the flags. They're the more like permanent things. This would be more for like a cabin,
right?
That we're seeing that are selling.
Which again is another angle, because you're outdoors, that you could do something. And I was originally going with that. Well, like when you first told me outdoors and stuff, I'm like, are we targeting people that have log cabins? Are we having people that are Adirondack style, like decorating, home decor, like that type of stuff? Because that's another angle for outdoor stuff. I know if I was going to do over a room and it was going to be all Adirondack with, the bear and, like all of the, all of the wooden kind of look and the rustic, all of that stuff, the trees, like the pine trees and all that stuff that's cut out in the sign, I'd be looking for that stuff to decorate my room. But if we're looking at, and again, the reason why I'm doing this is because if we look at, and Chris, even if you took off personalized and just putting camping flag, we're going to see if there's enough demand here for this to be our lead product. Again, this might not be the lead product. This is why we're doing this research. So yeah, taking that off, going camping flag, and then go and do your product research on that, or your analytics on that. Sort it. There we go. Same sign pops up, right? So it doesn't look like flag is a big seller.
Right.
Now, does that mean that people, if they came in your shop and saw it, wouldn't buy one? No, they probably would want to buy one, but they're not looking for it to start with. We have to see where they're starting from, right? What's that? Is that a personalized flag there, Chris?
Yeah, so it looks like these three are all along that personalized route.
Okay.
And they're, at least these two are selling pretty much one a day, right?
Yep.
So if we come in and we take a look at one of these, it does tell us there is some demand here.
Yep.
Right. And depending on what our goals are, this may be enough demand where if we get a little bit from them, a little bit from some of the other people, that we're selling one a day of these, it's not necessarily going to be the thing that is the cornerstone of a successful store here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a perfect example. So this has been active for 4 years. Okay, 46 months, close enough. 1,209 sales, $500 in monthly revenue, and 25 monthly sales on average, right? So this is a nice, steady little product, but it's not a driving product, right? It's not one that's going to drive a ton of traffic, right? It's got 47,437 views, favorited 1,142 times. I mean, again, it's not, if you're wanting to get to, $20,000-$30,000, this is going to take you a long time to get there. Right. And so this is a great product to add on, but I don't think this is a in demand going to drive you traffic to your shop, and to your brand. I think it's great. I think it's a great little product. And it's a great add-on, but it's not. So we still need to look for, like, that one. There's better, the metal outdoor sign, Chris, but is that for camping or just outdoor?
So I think their angle with this is that it's for the cabin, right? So you're going to put this out in front. This is the nameplate for the cabin.
Yep.
That you're going to put in front of it. And if that's the angle that people are buying, and we'd have to do a little bit more product research here to really understand how this market thinks. But if this is the angle that people are going for, they're probably not going to buy the camping flag because they want something more permanent, be it a wooden sign or a metal sign. And I know you have some of those in their shops or in your shop, but it may be just repositioning that as like, this is the thing for your cabin, right?
Yeah. So Robert, let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is your process for picking your next product to launch?
Normally just going into Everbee, and like I said before, putting in camping, hiking, outdoors, and then just see what pops up, populates after that, and go into that, and try to see what's on Printify, Printful, all those that I can actually put in the store that I think makes most sense.
Is there a number that you look at and go, okay, I need to create that? Like, what's your number for like picking a product that you're like, I'm going to create that?
No, I don't really have a number in my head when I'm looking at it. I just try to see what the top ones are.
Okay. All right. So I think you do need to have some type of baseline. And I'm not saying like every product has to be like a home run, but I do think, and I always advise people, like, you don't want to have to put out 1,000 products.
Right.
Like, that's a lot of work. You want to put out nice products, ones that can bring in steady sales. And I think those flags are really like the good supplemental product, the add-on. Like, I would, if there's anything lower than that, like if you're like, oh, it sells 10 a month, you're like, no. Like, you're like, if you're bored one day and you want to create something and put it in your store, and if it, picks you up 10 for the month, that's great. But you really want to look at something, again, for your numbers that you're trying to shoot for. If you're trying to shoot for that, you got to hit, a couple grand a month. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, normally I don't tend to look for stuff that's under, say, 200-300 sales a month or 1,000 in revenue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Cause I think for where you're trying to go, and again, depending on your profit margins, you have to look and say, okay, how am I going to hit 2,000 a month? I mean, that's really that's our target for you.
Right.
It's like $2,000 a month. That's going to get us to 24K, and we're talking profit. So we're like, okay, if we're going to do that, if we're selling one of these metal signs, let's say that you have, I'll just make it easy. Let's just say it's, $10 profit, right? So if it's $10 profit, how many of those do we have to sell a month to hit that? Right. Mm-hmm. So that's, Chris, am I doing math right here? 200. So
take, yeah.
Okay. So we're at 200. So now we got to break that down per day. How many is that per day?
Right.
Right. That's how we need to work backwards. So I think I personally would want to find a product or two or three that would get me close to that without adding any other products. And then you're definitely going to be able to hit it, because now you're like, okay, if I only did it on these 5 products and I'm hitting my $2,000 goal, and then I do all these supplemental products like with the flag and all those other add-ons, then your price or your cart value increases, and then it becomes like an easy way to get that.
Right.
Chris,
and I think
here.
One of the best ways to do that, Robert, is just by thinking about the different people who make up the outdoors niche, right? We have hikers, campers, hunters, and hippies, for lack of a better term, right? Just the people who are going for a walk to enjoy being in the forest, right? You have hikers who are doing that, but a little more intentionally. You have campers and you have hunters. And those would be the people, I think, that we could focus around. And one of the easy ways to do this is just to go to Etsy, type in something like hiking lover, hunter lover, camping lover, and see what they're showing at that general of a level that is selling it really well. Now, obviously, we're going to come back to these sign things again and again, right? Because they're high dollar value, and even selling just a few of those a month can do that. And we also have this really cool handmade Damascus hatchet, right? Probably not going to get you into hatchet making here anytime soon. But if we start scrolling down, we can start to see some themes. And what we're looking for here is not necessarily the product itself, but what does the product represent to that person? And the first thing that really sticks out here to me are the national park maps and scratch offs. So people who are really into hiking are really into things around the national parks, the different national parks.
Yeah.
Can we sit down for 10 minutes over morning coffee and come up with a couple different ways, even if it's not necessarily a scratch off, to show off the national parks, right? Maybe we come up with some printable wall art that represents some of the more trafficked national parks, right? Whatever that is. As we continue to scroll down, we can see, again, more national park stuff, log books, right? We could probably come up with our take on that. And then as we keep coming down here, we start to get to a place where we're not necessarily seeing that level of sales that we would want to see. So what we can take away kind of at this level is more along the lines of, okay, what is this representing? Because this will get us some revenue once we get through those big products. And what are they really going for here? Well, with something like this, they're just saying, hey, if it involves hiking and dogs, count me in. So this is more of like a pride thing, right? We're going to have to create more of these kinds of things than we do of the national parks kinds of things to get to that revenue. But we're going to want to kind of fill the store back in with this kind of stuff after we've gone after the big dogs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I started putting like metal signs, and they got double insulated water bottles and stuff that had a higher profit value.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out though, like where you are best to start. And I think right now, I guess what I'm seeing that you're lacking is those 3 to 5 products that are your driving products. Am I accurate on that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any one thing that is driving anything in.
Okay. But but it's not even that, but do you feel like you have 3 or 5 products that could be those things because the numbers that you found support that?
Yeah, but also most of the stuff that I see is selling the most are sweatshirts and t-shirts, and I don't want to just be a sweatshirt t-shirt shop.
Sure.
So like tumblers, coffee cups, and the signs are doing a lot too. Go ahead, Chris.
So I think that's where I come back to what I said kind of at the beginning of this, where there's 2 different ways to approach this market. There is the what do they take with them? That's more of the tumbler, boot tags, right? Those kinds of things. And then how do they represent it? And right now, what we're seeing in this market, Robert, is a lot of people, to your point, buying t-shirts and sweatshirts. What does that mean? Scott, I know you're probably with me on this. That means they want to represent it outside of it.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't wear a I hiked the Appalachian Trail t-shirt in your own house, right? You're doing that to promote it. Like you don't wear that just to make yourself happy. So if you're willing to buy a I hiked the Appalachian Trail t-shirt, you're probably willing to buy a I hiked the Appalachian Trail pillow, right? I through hiked the app, something like that. And what I'm not seeing a lot of in this market is people taking that approach. So we're not seeing a lot of the inside of the house stuff that also represents that. And I think we can take some of those designs that are successful on sweatshirts and t-shirts, create our own version of those, and put those on wall art, put those on the clocks, to your point, put those on pillows, put those on other types of products that allow people to represent themselves, or allow someone who knows that you're really into the outdoors, buy you something that's not a t-shirt or a sweatshirt as a gift. Because nobody, let's be honest, like nobody wants to give somebody a t-shirt as a gift. That's never the first thing that occurs to somebody. It's like, oh crap, my dad's birthday is Monday. What do I get him? I'll get him a camping t-shirt, right? You're like, okay, let me go find something. And if we can give them higher quality products, which seem to be lacking here, that may be a way of opening that up. Because most of these people probably aren't typing in camping t-shirt. They're typing in outdoor lover, or they're typing in gift for yada, yada, yada. And we have a chance in that conversation to come in with better designs on higher quality products that are not necessarily t-shirts or sweatshirts. When we see a lot of t-shirts and sweatshirts in a market, that is a sign to me that people are willing to outwardly express their belief or their conviction in that niche. And if that exists, then putting that on blankets, wall arts, clocks, pillows, all of those other products, you're going to be able to sell those as well.
Which I do have a lot of sweatshirts and t-shirts in the shop.
Okay. And so with the sweatshirt and t-shirts though, I guess it comes down to is like coming up with your own thing. that is like desirable, like a funny
Right.
saying, right? That no one else is saying, right? That is having right now. Understand though, you're going to get copied the minute that you put something out there, unless you fight it and whatever. Yeah, like here, life is better with coffee and camping, right? Like that's funny, but you're not going to get to your number by selling a t-shirt
Right.
and that says $12.71, but I'm going to guarantee it's more than that when you get into colors and sizes and all that stuff. But basically, the margins are paper thin. Now, with that being said, if that brought in the traffic and now they see the flag, the insulated mug, they see all those other things, well, now you have a greater chance of someone buying something. And you have a way also now, like I always think about it like this. If you're going after like the camping lover, right, that just loves it, they just can't wait for the next camping trip and they love it, right? And I'm thinking camping, like not even RVing, because RVing is a whole nother experience. Like RVing is like you're camping, but you're not really camping. Like you've got a shower in there, you've got like an oven, and you got everything, right? I'm talking about like true campers they're towing a pop up, or they're camping with a tent, or they're glamping, like those people with a campfire, they're doing s'mores, they're doing all that stuff, right? That's the one that I'm looking at right here in this example, because then what you do. And I always think about it like this. If you were to take 5 of your products, bundle them, and run a Facebook ad to people that are into camping, would people want that? And if they do, then it's like, okay, cool. Number one, I can build an email list now, and I can now market to these people. But I also know there's a group of people that are into this. And now those people I can sell directly to, but guess who else I can sell to? All the people that know that these people are somewhat annoying to them because all they do is talk about camping. And they're like, I got to get Robert something because all he does is talks about camping all the time. I'm going to get him like, I'd rather be camping than at work, like whatever, right? So I'm looking at it from two different sides, and kind of like we're looking at it as a group of people in this example, because that's the easiest way to think about like having something that people are going to want to buy, that are passionate about and that are just somewhat obsessed about. I think this is a good example right here too. We've got some great comments too that came in. Fatty Pancake. Blankets are another good one for camping. Hoodies are great, but if you just want a quick thing to wrap up in, blankets are great. I think blankets is a great idea. And the margins are really good on blankets. If you price
I do have a couple blankets in there.
Yeah.
I think what I would be looking for here, Robert, is a way to extend things like sentiments like this, which I think are great on a t-shirt, into other products, right? It's that product multiplication without you having to do more work. So for somebody who's really into camping, could you think of a better gift than like a kitchen sign that says life is better with coffee and camping, right? Because first thing in the morning, they're going to wake up, they're going to look at that every morning. They're going to go, I need my coffee. Man, I love camping, right? Something like that, being able to put that on a pillow, on a kitchen sign, on an indoor printable art piece, right? If we're able to take these sentiments and extend those to other products, it makes it very, very easy to start to get more traffic in without having to create a bunch of new designs.
Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty much going down the same road that we go down with a lot of these Etsy shop audits, to be honest with you, Robert. And it's okay because you started with the spaghetti at the wall. Now we're trying to hone in. You are closer than a lot of people because you are kind of like already saying like, I want to go outdoors. I want to do the hiking thing. Like I want to be in that world. But we've also went down you can kind of see that we've kind of went down a little bit deeper now. So personally, and again, this is totally up to you, I personally would start going down the road of finding a group like this in camping, and then just thinking to myself, okay, I need to make 3 to 5 products for this customer. And I need to then do research to find there's products that can be my lead-in products, the products that are going to bring people into the shop. Any questions on that?
So how would I find what the lead-in product should be?
Okay, it's a great question. Chris, why don't we just pull up search and then just put in there camping lover. Just start there.
Yeah, and that's, Robert, the path I started going down a few minutes ago was taking a look, just think about those different things. And somebody in the backstage comments pointed out that I missed fishermen when I went off on that rant about, campers, hikers, hippies, hunters, right? So all we're going to do, the easiest thing is just to see what's ranking at that top level for XYZ part of the niche plus lover, or, whatever variation of that you want to insert here. And we
Can
can
you
see,
do
to your point,
can you do a search on this or a report on this?
Yeah.
Pull the data.
to your point, when we look at the product results here, the very first thing that we see is a bunch of t-shirts, right? Because that's going to be the generic thing. But when we actually look at the search volume, or at the sales volume rather, we start to see some other things pop up. And we are going to see those t-shirts and sweatshirts. But again, that to me is, for lack of a better term, a flag, right? To say, hey, let's try this on some other things and see if we can get a good portion of that traffic coming through. So,
Chris, can you
guys, there's
search the entire database? Go up there and just click on that. And let's kind of go a little bit further back if we can. It's about the same. Okay. So there you are. Again, custom national park, something up at the very top was like one of the top ones. So like what I'd be doing right here is looking at, and I mean, we can even refine it if we went into the filters and, you know, we say that we don't want to see anything that's, you know, making
SVG.
less than 3,000. Like we can do all of that stuff. Yeah. Exclude, you know, SVGs. We don't want to see any of that stuff. You know, so really at this point in time, it's really doing the research like this, like camping lover, you know, it could be RV lover. Because if you look at the gift mode, everything is lover.
Right.
Well, that's not by accident. That's because that's what people are searching for, and they're making that the lead search. So I'd be starting there and then starting with the gift giver in mind. And then from there, I'd be finding those products that could potentially hit my numbers. Sort that one more time.
This is what happens when you have 49 million results to go through.
I know.
Which was the database size for Camping Lover.
I know.
Yeah. So we see some interesting things start to pop up, right? Things that are not necessarily related. Your total solar eclipse, some of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But really what you're looking for here are some of the design themes or some of the topic themes to figure out what's really working in the market. And again, we see national parks, right? Anything to do with the national parks, this audience loves, which makes sense because for most people, that's how you get outdoors in the US, unless you grew up, you know, in the backwoods somewhere. So we can start to see some things, you know, camping sweatshirts pop up, generic, like nature themed things start to pop up.
But Chris, at this point, if I'm doing this research, I'm backing out of here because I'm not seeing the monthly sales. Like I'm seeing 30 sales. That's not enough for us. Right. So Robert, it's like this process is like, when you see this, you're like, okay, that's not going to work. Right. So I have to come up with another, like camping lover is not a big enough search. So it's probably not one I'm going to go after. So I'm going to go ahead. Like, so if you just put in camping, Chris, like, no, just do the auto populate. Let's see what that, I just want to see up top when you do that. So SVG, obviously camping bachelorette. That's interesting. Then camping shirt.
Jump into that really quick just to see what comes up. Yeah, that's, well, that is not the product I would have expected. Like any of these things are not something that would have occurred to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, like I never would have thought of camping bachelorette, right? But by doing this, you're kind of like, you're mining, right? So bachelorette party, something, where was that? And we're just going to sit here and look at the bee turn. We got too much stuff going on here. Yeah. Okay. So this doesn't, I don't know why that's even in there. Go back to the previous 70 though, Chris. I wouldn't even go this deep on the 70, or I'm sorry, on the huge.
Yeah. And it's pulling that in automatically. But if we look at some of these kinds of things, right? They're templates.
Yeah.
T-shirts, sweatshirts, anything that is personalizable in regards to finding or doing your bachelorette party outside.
Yeah. So this, again, I would pass on this, right? I'm like, okay, pass, right? So this might not be your thing. You know, if you, after you're going down this road, you're like, okay, camping isn't the lead thing, right? Like, so now I'll have to go to the other thing. So then I'm going to start maybe looking at the national parks, right? And I'm going to start seeing like, okay, or hiking, right? Now we get the hiking lover next. right? And we have to keep going through this until we find an avenue that's going to support the numbers that we need. You know, yeah, run that. Yeah, so that thing just keeps popping up. Chris, just go to that thing. I want to see what the heck that thing
Which
is.
one?
But the top, the 300 sales a month, $41,000.
Yeah, that's a custom national park sign, right? So
Yeah.
it's in the style of the U.S. national park signs.
Okay. So can you go to that listing?
Yeah.
Okay. 15 people bought this in the last 24 hours. Okay. So again, this isn't something that you're going to create.
Right.
But what I am going to look at is like custom national park sign is the lead thing. And all that this is it's not necessarily a certain national park. It's a sign that looks like a national park with their name. And I'm going to guess, because this is the picture, it's being purchased for people that are getting married. See,
Yeah,
wedding
welcome
sign.
to our adventure.
Yeah, and you have people on there, and it's like, welcome to our adventure. It's the couple. Yeah, that's a wedding gift. Great wedding gift, by the way. So once again, you know, has to do with, you know, camping and travel and all that stuff. Could you sell that and also position it towards the wedding market? You could. I'm not saying it's going to be this sign. It might be, again, it might be a yard sign, you know, that goes out, or it might be something that, you know, a flag that you do hang on the house. Like it could be that. This is unique in itself. Like someone's actually making this. So again, I mean, we would have to keep drilling, but this is the process. Like this is the process that you're going to have to do. Someone else is going to have to do that has their own shop that has the same problem. Is we have to keep drilling into a certain area. You know, and maybe it is RVing. Maybe it's RVing is the path, right? And then once we do that, then we can start going into, like, again, I would look a little bit deeper on hiking. I would look a little bit deeper on just straight up travel, you know, national parks that people are visiting. So anything that's with travel, camping, that's where I would be spending the time.
Okay.
Chris, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think it's really coming down and thinking about those two areas, right? Things that people take with them during the experience and things that people have to represent that experience. And we can see, for the most part, the stuff that sells at high dollar value are the things that represent that experience. Like this sign that pops up every search term we type in, right? Like the national park maps, like the national park stickers, the things they can have with them either on their person or in their house to represent that experience. And then we can have some of the other things like the mugs and the insulated tumblers and some of those kinds of things that they can take with them. But it seems like the money here really is on the representing that experience side of things. And we just have to drill in to find the specific products that people are looking for, and then take some of that inspiration and apply it to the other things that we're not seeing. I'm not seeing a lot of pillows. I'm not seeing a lot of blankets. I'm not seeing a lot of the other ways that people could represent that feeling outside of the t-shirts and sweatshirts. That's a potential opportunity for us as well.
Yeah. And someone just asked in the comments, what would we consider to be a good sales amount to validate that it's a good product? And you know, Robert asked the same question. And our answer to that is it's going to depend on your number. Right. Right. So Robert, you want to hit, let's just make it easy, $24,000 between now and 2024, or the end of 2024. Let's just say we had 12 months to do that. We got $2,000 per month. We did the math. If we sell something, we make $10 on it. We have to sell 20 of those. Let's see here. 20, that would be a day. 10, that'd be a little bit more than that. So let's just call it, we need like 16, 17 sales, right? To make up that number, because we need 200 sales total for the month. Okay. So if we took 5 products and then divided that by that number, that would be my number, right? If you want to hit $5,000, you got to do the same math. You just have to do it differently now, right? And you have to then say, okay, it's, you know, it's going to be whatever the math is. I'm not going to try to do math on the fly, but I can get my phone out. I got to calculate here, but we got too many things going on. So that's what I'd be looking at. And so for your example, it's pretty simple. It's like, okay, I need 5 products And the only reason why I'm saying 5, because it's easy to wrap your head around. It's like, I need to spend time to find 5 products that are already selling at the number that I need to hit. And then once I have that, I can backfill it with products that might only be selling 15 a month, right? And then kind of start backfilling everything else. But I would spend all of your time right now doing what we just did and just coming up with those 5 products, because that's going to lead you also to like the overall niche that you're going to be targeting. I mean, I know you're targeting the outdoors and the hiking, then that's fine. But I'm saying, what's the sub niches that we're going to go after? And again, if I had more time, maybe I'd find an angle in camping. I don't know, but I'm going to probably spend, realistically, I'm going to spend an easy hour just doing exactly what Chris was doing. And I'm going to do it I'm even doing it a little bit faster because Chris was in and explaining it. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit product, analytics, sort by monthly. Brr, nope. Go, boom, next search, boom, next one, boom. I'm just going to keep moving until I'm going to go, oh, there's one. Right. And then once I find one, then I'm going to go into that person's shop and see if there's anything else that's related that I can pull from. But it starts with that process in figuring out those 5 products to hit your number. So take your number, divide it by 5 products. That's your number that you want to find that's already validated at selling. Does that make sense, Robert?
Yeah. So would you recommend keep running Etsy ads on anything new I put up?
I would do it on the ones that are your lead products.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, right now you're running it $5 a day. Can't really get hurt with $5 a day. It's like, okay, you're getting data. I like that you're getting data, but I would like it to be on the products that are going to ultimately make up your brand. And I know it's hard, right? Because you're like, well, I got a sale on that yesterday, but did you make any money on it yesterday? And that sale that you got, because it's a random product that you loaded up when you first started, that customer it's not worth anything to me. Because I'm not going to sell them something down the road. They're not going to become part of my email list. So to me, it's like, and I said this the other day to someone, I'm like, right now, everyone's in for the instant gratification. You're going to be disappointed because this isn't easy. Okay. And building a business isn't easy. This isn't, Etsy to me is like just part of a business. It's not the entire business. And you really have to slow down a minute and go, okay, where's the direction that I need to start heading to hit my number? Because it's the number that you're targeting and that you're going after. So then we have to start working backwards. Okay. The number is $2,000 a month. Cool. Got that number. Okay. Now I need to find 5 products that are going to hit that. Okay. Where do I start? Okay. My sub niches, camping. I'm going to go there and I'm going to see if I can find 3 to 5 products there. And the reason why I say 3 to 5, because you might only need 3. You might divide it by 3 and go, yeah, I can get there. And then I would take the Etsy ads and I would run just through our strategy that we've always talked about. Like we would run aggressively on those products. We would discount them deeply. And we would just start cranking it up. And those people, I don't care even if I'm breaking even in the beginning because I'm building the audience in that niche. So if you're running ads right now, $5 a day, are you spending the full 5 right now?
No, not completely.
Why aren't we spending the full 5?
Right.
No demand there, right? You know what? You could, if you want, you could turn off those ads today and start focusing on those 3 to 5 products. Once you get the 3 to 5 products, turn it back on, get you everything set, everything dialed in. And then at least you're starting to hedge towards the goal.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's pretty much what I would say. So we always give people a 60-day, 90-day plan. Yours is pretty simple. We have to get clear on the validation of the products that are going to help us hit our goals. And I think you even stated it in the beginning, without, views, you have a hard time making sales, right? So we got to get products that have the view count, and I think you can do it in the outdoor space. I think we just have to figure out what angle. National parks, definitely look into that. Definitely look into national parks, camping, RVing, anything travel. That's where I'd be spending the time.
Okay.
So that's a wrap for this Etsy shop audit. But if you want to watch more, well, you can find some more right here. And if you do, well, I'll see you there.